I love Paige to death. Do not get me wrong. But those refs were giving her every freaking whistle last night. Like, you literally couldn't touch her. But, like, to get the treatment she got last night was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
1 week later.
But hey, another thing, I don't know why this reminded me. I'm officially 3 for 3 on being fined by the WNBA.
Holy shit. For this? For the pod? Again?
They didn't like my comments on Paige Becker's.
No way.
I didn't even say anything bad.
See, at this point, you can't even call it a coincidence anymore. And even though Sophie is now out, a season-ending injury, the WNBA still doesn't forget to dig into her pockets. I mean, when the refs get shady and when the whistle starts sounding funny, Sophie calls it out loud. And the league, well, they don't listen. They punish her instead, slapping her with a $500 fine this time around. At this point, every time Sophie opens her mouth, the WNBA is like,
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
But seriously though, why silence a player with a fine when all they're doing is speaking the truth and keeping it real? Look, I'm not the type of guy who usually wants to harp on this stuff, but man, enough is enough. It's about time we expose what the WNBA is really doing here. So you know what? Let's run it back. We're not just gonna talk about this latest attack. Nah. We're gonna unpack the stats, going through each one of the fines to see if she's just chasing clout or if the WNBA's just doing serious damage control. See, it started in that infamous Fever versus Sun game 2 months ago. Well, you know how it all went down. J.C. Sheldon pokes Caitlyn Clark in the eye, then gets in her face. Caitlyn in return shoves her back. Then Mabry comes flying out of nowhere, trucks Caitlyn to the floor. It's clear as day. Caitlyn's the victim here, but instead of punishing the aggressors, the refs went soft. Sheldon just got a tech and Mabry a flagrant one. That's when Sophie had seen enough. If the refs weren't gonna do their job, she was gonna handle it herself. And so she went right at Sheldon, sent a message, got tossed, and ate a $400 fine. Then 2 days later, she posted a viral TikTok clip, firing shots at the refs that went something like this.
Stupid. Slow. Maybe it's useless.
And for that 10-second clip that went over 2 million views, the W fined her $500. Now, I'm not saying Sophie was perfect in that moment, but let's be real. If the refs had thrown Mabry out on the spot, Sophie wouldn't have gone after Sheldon, and she wouldn't have posted that clip. And see, one day after the game, Sophie was actually vindicated, because after the WNBA reviewed the incident, they upgraded Mabry's flagrant 1 to flagrant 2. And this only proves that the refs on that game were indeed slow. Y'all know the rest. Anyway, the next incident comes from the game against, guess who? The Connecticut Sun once again. So as you can see, here's the ref and here's Sophie getting hugged, yet no whistle. Then, bam! She got elbowed across the side of her head. Now, if you take a look at the replay, the Sun player is checking on her shoulder multiple times, meaning that this is premeditated and she's really targeting Sophie. And the ref, standing right there, called nothing, no flagrant, no tech, not even a stoppage. So since she didn't get justice, Sophie calls him out once again during the first episode of her new podcast to set things straight.
I think I'm really the only one who publicly is a massive on refs. Like, I'm not saying that your job is easy, but when it is a simple call right in front of your face multiple times, what are you doing? They're just so inconsistent. It's like, what is going on with the refs? And I'm like, I don't know. And you finding me $500 is not going to do.
Now think about this. NBA players have podcasts left and right. They talk about refs, officiating, and league issues. Nobody bats an eye. But when it's Sophie's turn to speak out and voice her concerns, the WNBA quickly tries to shut her up by slapping a $1,500 fine. Again, Sophie didn't say anything wrong there. Like, if you're gonna let the other team play rough on us, you should also do the same thing on the other end. It's that simple. I mean, a perfect example of this is the vicious cycle of attack and biased officiating against Caitlyn Clark. During her rookie year, Caitlyn was hacked in the face, elbowed in the back, on the head, and on the side, and was poked in the eye. But tell me this, Did you hear or did you learn about any of them getting suspended or fined? Well, except for that one time, DeJohn Carrington got fined $47.50 for pulling a ponytail of another player. But that's about it. And look, I'm not even digging into every bogus whistle the Fever's eaten this season. Sophie's not asking for favoritism. She's not asking the league to go after other players. She just wants one thing: call it straight, right down the middle. All right. Let's get into the latest fine the W dropped on Sophie, this time for daring to point out how the refs seem to be giving Paige Beckers those so-called superstar calls during their most recent matchup. So let's roll the tape. On this play, Sophie gets whistled for a reckless closeout, but watch closely. Her foot was actually on the side and not on Paige's landing spot, and ironically, it was Paige's own right foot that created the contact which triggered the foul. Now, I'm not saying that the refs were completely wrong on this 50-50 call, but see, when the exact same thing happened to Caitlyn last season, with Bonner clearly not giving CC any space to land, the refs just say play on. Anyway, here's another play. So, Sophie was trying to guard Paige, her hands straight up. Paige then shoves her hard in the chest. That's an offensive foul all day, but the refs called the foul against Sophie instead. And similarly, on this last play, again, arms up, just playing straight defense. Paige pushes off, the whistle blows, but the foul was on Sophie. I mean, as she said in the intro, she was surprised that Paige was getting the superstar treatment even though she's just a rookie. And based on the clips that you just saw, she wasn't lying with those phantom calls. But see, even though she's just telling the truth backed up with solid evidence, the WNBA slapped her with another $500 fine because of her quote-unquote disparaging statements. Disparaging or just exposing the truth. And see, here's the crazy part. Sophie's not even on the floor anymore. She's out for the season with a controversial injury. Now, even though she already downplayed it, saying it wasn't intentional, her family, her mother, and her sister, they weren't buying it. And yet, the WNBA is still digging into her pockets. 3 straight fines, and not once did the league address the officiating issues she's been pointing out. So you tell me, is Sophie Cunningham clout chasing? Or is she the only one with the guts to keep it real about a league that refuses to hold its refs accountable? Drop your thoughts down below, because this isn't just Sophie's fight anymore. This is about the integrity of the game, because at the end of the day, players can be silenced, wallets can be taxed, but the truth always gets louder.